Hi everyone, Mady Gomez here. I am actually in Taylorsville. I am 11 miles west of the Walker fire. We've been talking about this fire for the past week. Just wanted to come up here, get the latest information, the containment, but also talk to crews because as we know, this right now is the biggest fire we've seen of 2019. So it was important to come up here, talk to the crews. I also wanted to see because this is one of the largest campsite fires I have ever seen. And keep in mind, when we talk about, pop-up campfires, that takes a lot. I don't think people understand just all the logistics that go behind that. But before I get into all of that, let me give you just a little bit of the information that I have been able to gather so far. So right now, we've got 2,091 crews still battling the fire out here. The fire is 68% contained. We're going to have new numbers come out later on today at 6. Obviously, that's going to change because of all the weather, the rain that we had earlier today. But as far as the numbers go, it is still at 68% contained. The fire has blazed 54,000 acres. And I just want to let me bring in Becky Schufeld. She is with the Forest Service. I want to talk to her about this campsite because this is extremely impressive. Becky, let me turn this around. First of all, Becky, thank you so much for talking to us, taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, so we got the latest on the numbers. We understand we're going to get some new information as it becomes available later on today.
New information?
Yeah, on the fire.
On the fire, yeah, we usually get updates in the early evening. We're hoping to see those containment numbers go up as today's earlier rain that we received this morning is going to allow crews to perform some additional mop-up and secure those lines that are out there and actually get to the point where we're going to start backhauling equipment, which means that in those containment areas that have been contained for a little while, we'll be pulling out hose and pumps, other fire suppression equipment that's no longer needed, and then move to that fire suppression repair phase.
Yeah, so we're done as far as like when it comes down to battling the fire. I mean, at this point, I think one of the commanders talked about, we're in that phase where now it's not only, you're not dealing with the fire anymore, now you're dealing with the debris and the mudslides and everything that comes along with that.
Correct. So part of that cleanup phase, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
in fire suppression repair is to also ensure that the closure area, all those roads in there that would normally be accessed by the public will be safe before opening back up to the public.
Perfect. Hey Becky, this is one of the biggest campsites I have ever seen. Take a look at that. Can you walk us through? Can we walk around and show us kind of what we're looking at here?
Exactly. So as you can see out here is one of several sleeping areas. We do have over 2,000 folks on the fire right now, so there has to be a place for all of them to sleep.
Yeah.
So this is just one of the few areas that we have. It takes a lot to keep this camp going. We also have these portable trailers here which serve as office buildings for our fire overhead. And then
How big is this campsite?
How big?
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite a few acres big. I don't know the exact number,
Okay.
but it's fairly large. In fact, when this fire first started, and I got here on day 2, it was just down the road in a much smaller area, and we quickly outgrew that fire camp. So they knew that they had to move or find a place large enough to sustain this many fire personnel.
Right, and I saw, you can still see some of those tents back there where many of the fire crews are sleeping. This is self-sustained as well.
Yes, and most of us that
Walk over there somewhere?
We can walk over there.
All right.
And right over there where you see those tents set up, that's where our dining halls are set up. So the caterer has to be able to provide food, at least breakfast and dinner for this many firefighters that are here right now. And we also have a second camp, which is located in the Four Corners area, also set up so that logistically it would be more efficient for fire personnel that is working the fire line on the eastern side of the fire would be able to access better without having to add additional drive time, which is also much safer for our fire folks.
Yeah, we talk about 2,000 crews, and this is an all hands effort. So we're not just talking about one agency; we're talking about a multi-agency effort here.
Correct. It is a multi-agency effort. We have agency representation from just about every federal agency that's deals with land management, such as Forest Service, Park Service, Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Indian Affairs. We also have state resources that are here. There are some CAL FIRE folks assigned to this fire as well, in addition to county and local resources.
And can we walk maybe over here to these tents? Let's talk about the sacrifice, because it's a lot of sacrifice. A lot of these crews, you guys are out here for weeks on end, battling these fires. You're obviously sleeping on the ground, on the tents there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be tough for your family.
Yeah, it is. We sacrifice up to 14 days away from our families. We're sleeping in tents. We joke saying we're sleeping in dirt, but not necessarily true. But yeah, and what's great though about being here is that the people that we work with, we're working with each other 15, 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time. We get to know each other very quickly, and we become a little family. And with that, we help to entertain each other and those times where we're really missing our families, and it really helps us to get through those times up to 14 days, sometimes more.
I would imagine that there's a lot of camaraderie that comes out of it, a lot of friendships, because you see each other.
I've made some lifelong friendships on fire assignments, and it's a lot of fun, but it is a lot of sacrifice away from our families.
For sure. What are we looking at right here? What are these tents?
These tents are part of the fire overhead tent. So we have a situation room where they're able to look at maps. Our GIS folks who are actively creating all kinds of maps that our other resources can look at to interpret what they need to make their decisions and recommendations.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about, because I know some of the shifts are extremely tough. I mean, you guys are working 12 hours out there battling those flames. Can we talk about those shifts?
Those shifts out there, yeah, it is. They are some really long days. Sometimes we have to drive pretty far out there to get to the work location. So it is long days, but we're able to pace ourselves. We have a work-rest ratio where we can only work 16 hours, and after that we have to rest for 8 hours. So that allows us to stay healthy, rested, and safe.
And let's talk about the because there's crews who work graveyard shifts. I mean,
yes, there is a night shift. So we have 2 operational periods, and one is the day shift, which is 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Can we go in here? It's kind of loud, and I'm not sure if folks are going to be able to hear us. Oh, never mind, they're working.
So that's the situation room, as I had earlier. We can watch this one.
We'll be there in just a second. Thank you for inviting us.
We have a resource advisor. Yeah, so a lot of us do work the day shift, which I said is 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. But then we also have night shift, which starts from 6 p.m. into the mid-morning. And those folks are really, I respect them completely, because they're out there at night. I guess
It's tough.
Yes, when we're all asleep, they're out there still patrolling the lines, securing the lines, and making sure that if anything jumps the line that they get right on top of it.
That's right. And because they work at night, obviously they have to sleep during the day. And you guys have trailers specifically for those crews.
Yes, you won't be able to see them from here, but over that way we have our ground ops area where there are several trailers that are staged. They are built specifically for folks to sleep in, so the inside of them is pitch black dark and they're nice and cool. So when temperatures are 80 plus degrees outside, you can imagine trying to sleep during the day with those kind of temperatures. These trailers allow firefighters to sleep and get some really good rest during the day.
Yeah. And listen, we talked earlier about, this is a team effort, obviously multi-agency effort, battling
Yes.
the fire, but also even running this campground. This is a huge place. This is just, guys, I'm just walking you through part of it. This goes way beyond. And you see these tents, there's tents on the opposite side, there's tents across the street. It's pretty impressive. And just to keep this running, it takes a lot of people. I mean, it
Yes,
takes...
It does. Our fire support personnel is a very large part of those numbers that you see, which we're at 2,000, almost 2,100 personnel at this point. So those folks are really super important. It's like it all works together like a chain link fence.
Yeah.
You take one chain out and it just does not function very well or efficiently. So those are the folks that are helping us changing out the garbage.
Small things, but make a big deal.
Down here, they put in these trenches 2 days ago in preparation of heavy rain, just so that our yurts and tents wouldn't get flooded out.
Yeah, and these are some of the folks you're looking at right there. Those are the folks that we're
Yes.
talking about.
So that's the California Conservation Corps. Those are a couple employees with the California Conservation Corps, and they're not the only ones that work around support, but they are very important in helping us transport supplies and doing all those little housekeeping type
Right.
things around camp. So
And it's a lot too, because you talked about catering, you talked about
Right.
organizing those mobile showers to come here, and
what's amazing to me is this is Walker Fire mini city. Okay, so this mini city that we have here that sustains over 2,000 people erects itself in just a few days.
Wow.
Just a few days. So it's pretty impressive in my mind, and it's the little comforts that are provided here, like you said, having warm food, laundry facilities, those kind of things that help us make life here a little bit more tolerable, especially when we're missing our families.
Absolutely. Wanted to ask you, at this point, the fire is 68% contained. We're going to get new numbers later on today, but when do you guys expect to have 100% containment on this fire and start closing shop here?
That's a really hard question to answer at this point. I do, in the near future, see that things will continue to improve as far as the containment percentage numbers. But at this time, we need to be absolutely confident that the areas of the fire line that are not contained are not those areas which we've still been seeing a little bit of spot fires over, that with absolute certainty that fire is not going to jump that line. And after 24 hours of that certainty, then we can say, okay, this line is contained. Once the entire line around the fire is contained, then we can call it controlled.
Gotcha. Can you tell us a little bit about the Walker Fire? Because we know right now this is the largest fire of 2019. Just how it's obviously in the national forest. It's
Yes.
way up there. How tough has it been for you guys?
It's been quite an experience for me, at least, being here. I got here on day 2 of the fire, and the following day is when this fire made a huge run. So
Right.
we really had a change in weather, which brought really heavy winds that made the fire increase by 20,000 acres, or 22,000 acres. Then that following night, or the next day, that following night, we had another run that was somewhere numbers because the winds were so strong. So it was pretty intense there for the first couple days of the fire, but as the longer I've been here and I've seen how hard crews have been working and the increase in acreage hasn't necessarily gone up in those high numbers, and knowing that the increase in the acres burned lately is actually due to our firing operations, I feel that there's going to be some true success to this fire.
Perfect. Is there anything else people need to know about this fire? I mean,
the really good news today is that all evacuation areas have been lifted, and we did want to recognize the local communities here for their efforts in making sure that there was adequate defensible space around their structures. Because of that has really helped us in being able to protect those structures.
Yeah.
In addition, I'd also like to remind folks though that we are not out of fire season yet. This is just the start for some portions of California, and to make sure that it's really important that you make sure that you provide adequate amount of defensible space around your home. Make sure that you're prepared.
Yeah, like they always say, you know, just anything will spark a fire, especially when the brush is extremely dry and the winds
Yes.
are really blowing. So make sure everybody understands that and everybody knows. So that's good. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time talking to me. I know you guys are extremely busy. So guys, again, Mady here. We are about 11 miles from the Walker fire. We actually have a crew up there right now. I wanted to talk just to the personnel here on the campsite. This is one of the biggest campsites I have ever seen. Right now we've got 2,000 crews battling the fire, and I just showed you a little bit around as far as like they're just where they're sleeping, and just like this makeshift pop-up campsite, you know, that's self-sustained. I mean, earlier, you know, I saw, you know, portable, you know, bathrooms. I saw like a cafeteria. There's portable, you know, washer dryers out here. It's very self-sustained, and of course you have to have some. You have to have that. You have to have all of it. You've got folks out here, you know, working 14 straight days, you know, 12-hour shifts. It's tough, and you know the sacrifice that they make, you know, being away from their families, and it just takes a village. And again, numbers as far as the Walker fire right now, we're going to have new numbers come in later on this evening around 6, but right now, again, it is 68% contained. You're looking at 54,518 acres that have burned so far.